Surrounded by mountains and massive trees sits the tiny town of Monterey in Highland County, Virginia, a resilient community of about 200 people living in Appalachia.
Everybody is first name basis. This is one of the real benefits to live here.
Angelica Levine spent nearly 4 decades here, raising a family. Her husband is deceased, and her children have moved away. At 86, she lives alone and doesn't drive.
Have you ever tried?
Yes, I have tried. Tried and given up.
Why? Why did you give up?
I just couldn't cut it.
For people like Levine, getting to and from their doctor's appointments is a constant challenge. And it's a similar issue in rural areas across the country. Investigate TV analysis shows 1 in 10 Highland County families don't have a vehicle. In nearly 15% of Appalachian counties, including Highland, public transportation is non-existent. Across the country, the American Public Transportation Association says 45% of people have no access to mass transit.
Well, whatever I can do can be done here at the medical center, and that's a great advantage because I don't have to drive.
Levine can walk to this medical center, but if she needs to go to the hospital or see a specialist for her glaucoma, that's an hour drive.
How do you get used to that? How do you get used to being that far away from a hospital?
I have lived here long enough to get used to it. Fortunately, family ties up pretty good here. So people have family that take care of that.
Federal census data reveals more than 1/3 of Highland County residents are seniors. At one point, Levine depended on friends to take her to and from medical appointments or even pick up groceries. Not anymore. Highland County launched a transportation service about 8 years ago, providing seniors with another option.
We are an aged community. We have a disproportionate number of seniors.
Robert Maupin should know. As senior transportation driver for the Valley Program for Aging Services, he's driven countless miles to help fill a demand here.
We definitely need more than one driver. And we do have a few individuals who volunteer, but most of them don't live here full time.
Maupin typically makes multiple trips 5 days a week from Highland County to the nearest cities where residents have access to additional stores and doctor's offices, like in Stanton and Harrisonburg. The cost to seniors, $10 for a round-trip ticket.
A lot of people say, well, do you have time to run by the Walmart? Do you have time to run by the grocery store? And I just tell them, look, I'm yours for the day. Wherever you want to go, whatever you need.
Some families can't rely on a driver like Maupin, so a simple trip to the doctor can add up. We did a comparison on how much it would cost to go to the nearest urgent care in some of the rural communities that don't have public transportation. We looked at Highland County, Virginia. The average cost of gas for a 55-minute drive to the closest urgent care is a little over $6 round trip. An Uber or Lyft is roughly $60 for that same trip. In Issaquena County, Mississippi, a 2-hour and 8-minute car ride to a nearby clinic is about $20 in gas round trip, nearly $200 for an Uber or Lyft. But there's a huge difference in a city like Cincinnati, Ohio, which has public transportation, and using a random address with an 8-minute round trip to an urgent care is 37 cents in gas by car and $12 for an Uber or Lyft.
Do you think the folks in these regions have been forgotten?
There is always a risk that Appalachia will be forgotten.
Guy Land is the Congressional Liaison Specialist with the Appalachian Regional Commission, a federal and state partnership that provides economic opportunities and a better quality of life for people living in these regions.
It's easy to ignore it if there's not somebody there championing it, being an advocate for it, calling the attention of the nation.
According to the federal government, the Department of Transportation only allocates about 11% of grant funding to rural areas. Regardless, Land says ARC has been a driving force to help fund a 4-lane highway system in that region, but the project is still underway.
The Appalachian people have a rich history of resiliency and endurance. Those are hallmarks of the region. It's important that the people of the region drive the transformation of the region.
Back in Highland County,
You come here, you know the winters are long, the growing season is short, and you're okay with that.
and Maupin's thankful to give back and fulfill a huge void in this county,
You just get to know the seniors, and they're so appreciative.
helping those who can't always help themselves.
And I always think, too, the older I get, I will need more transportation, and I don't want to exhaust my friends too soon, really.